Hello, all of you wonderful dog lovers. Thanks for following me. I appreciate you. So, I'm making this video for a few different reasons. One, I found that doing shorter videos on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram are better than making longer videos. That's why I typically just do little short pictures of clients, dogs I work with, and then I just write a little bit of stuff. Um, but you can actually see my longer videos where I can actually explain some things on my YouTube page, The Educated Dog. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about is the difference, and I've brought this up before, but it comes up a lot, is the difference between um, dog training, dog behavior, and there is a huge difference. And what I think is the most important training command you can ever teach a dog. So let's start with dog training. Um, a lot of people will say, well, I don't want my dog to learn tricks. Tricks are things like roll over, high five, play dead. Those are tricks. Commands are your way of giving your dogs basic directions. And like those are things you just need to be able to give your dog is simple directions. For example, if I'm at a restaurant sitting on the patio, I need to be able to tell my dog to down. Um, I don't when I if I'm at a patio, I don't want a dog sitting, standing, looking around. I need that dog in its place. So that way I don't have to worry about anything, you know, the dog getting in someone's way, someone trying to reach over to the dog and pet them. Um, so my dog has a job if we're at a restaurant, and that is to down and stay in place. If I'm in a public place like a grocery store, my dog's job is to be directly to my side. So the difference in dog behavior, and I'll come back to my number one important command dog behavior. And I've met dogs that are trained really well. Dog behavior is things like a dog that runs out the front door, jumps on the owners, jumps on the guest, is destructive, barks at every single dog that goes by the windows, um, is aggressive, fear aggressive. There's difference in those aggressions. Uh, Leash aggression, mouthy uh, to its owners. Uh, Mostly that's puppies and very young dogs. But those behaviors cannot be resolved or changed by teaching a dog to sit and stay. That makes a dog very well skilled at sit and stay. And every behavior a dog does, there's a reason. And it's understanding that reason the dog's doing it so that way I know how am I going to help change this dog's behavior. And behavior wise, I mean, I've been working with dogs my entire life. Behavior is all I've really focused on for the past 27, 28 years. So I've done this a very long time. I actually became really well known for working with aggressive dogs. So now, all trainers basically train obedience differently. The one training I never agree with is a 2 week training program. Because when someone says they're going to train your dog, that means the dog doesn't just have the basic concept of sit or down. That means the dog understands every single command and performs that command. I've never seen a dog completely trained in 2 weeks. There are some 4 week programs. Those are pretty good, still differently than how I would do it. I'll talk a little bit about that. There's board and train, lots of different views on that. It is it is really sad that even some reputable trainers, um, I can think of one just right outside of Houston. I mean, he was well known, trained a lot of famous athletes, dogs, and he ended up injuring a puppy so badly that the puppy had to be euthanized. It's, but there are great, great trainers out there. Don't get me wrong. Um, there is training facilities where you take your dog there and they work with you on one command that day, and then you work on that for a week. Then you go back the next week. You practice on that for the rest of the week. Then you go back the next week, and they give you the next command. So, yeah, I'm already at 7 minutes. This video would not have done well on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So here I'm one. I don't use my YouTube channel enough. I'm going to start using that more, and just giving some basic tips to try to help people out a little bit. So basically, for the 5 commands, if you're going there, you're going to be going once a week for about 5 weeks. Now, there used to be trainers, and I think there still are. There just really aren't as many. I certainly don't hear about them as much, that would come to the home once a week, show you how to get the dog to sit 1 week, stay 1 week. I just don't really see them a whole lot. And of course, there are a ton of YouTube videos you can go to where trainers are showing you right on YouTube how to teach a dog to sit, how to teach a dog to stay, using very simple techniques. You just got to find the one you like. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with clickers. I just I wouldn't bother with a clicker. I just wouldn't. We've been teaching dogs obedience for years and years and years without a clicker. That's a fact. You just want to make sure they have very simple techniques. So you'd be surprised how many of you can teach your dog at home by watching YouTube videos the 5 basic commands: sit, stay, down, heel, here. Most trainers, by the way, are going to use the word come. I use the word here for a reason. So let's talk about the most important training command. Well, let's go back to the other basics first. No, I'm just okay. So the most important command to me you can ever teach a dog is the command here, purely from a safety issue. When you say here, no matter what's going on in that dog's environment, that dog should come here immediately. So that is my number one command, and I'll explain how I train. Oh, there's one other training that I will tell you that I can't stand, and that is group puppy training. puppy training slash socialization. No, no, no. First of all, I'm not going to take a puppy where there's other puppies and try to get the puppy to sit, let alone even an adult dog. I'm not going to do it. Training is there for training. Socialization can be done a ton of other dog parks. Not a huge fan of them. Dog daycares. Um, that you have to have proof of shots. Dogs can't be aggressive. Uh, People there are paid to watch your dogs. So when it comes to the five basic commands, my way of training is very different. First of all, when I'm teaching a dog a new command, I take one full week on that command and I work on that command for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. I like to keep training sessions short and simple, but I don't even use a word on the first couple of days. I will lure a dog because the dog doesn't know the word. So what I do is I lure the dog into like a sit, and then eventually I add the word and the praise. So I'm linking a word to an action the dog is already doing, which makes it much easier for the dog. That's the way I do it. So I train on each command for a full week, 7 days. I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it fun. Uh, there's the whole debate of using dog treats. I, I don't see a problem either way. If you want to use them, if you don't want to use them, if you want to use praise instead of treats. Uh, some dogs, very few, aren't motivated by food, but very few. And, you know, uh, I think of, for me, I think of a treat as, payday. Um, to me, when I'm giving a dog command, the dog has a job. That's to follow that command. I know when I do a job, I like to get paid. Nice pat on the back, good job. It's all right, but the pay. So, and then I just get rid of them once the dog knows the command. I don't need a treat for that. Praise is great. So the four commands: sit, stay, down, heel. That's going to take me 4 weeks. When it comes to here, that's going to take me a lot longer. On here, first of all, in most all of my commands, I'm going to do that. This is why I don't like puppy group training. Individual one-on-one training is the best training you can go with. The dog has focus, and that's what. So the dog has focus. So I start my commands inside. And on the here command, I'll start inside. And then the next week, I'm going to do like the backyard uh, or an empty field where there's no distractions, but backyard. And then the third week, I'm going to do the front yard. All of this is done on leash. All of it. So then my last week, I'm going to do the front yard, and I'm going to use a retractable leash. So instead of just 6 feet from the dog, I actually use 7 foot leashes. I have them specially made from leather from horse bridle companies. They're such great leashes. Uh, and I'm going to use a retractable leash. So I got to have a good 25, 30 feet that I can put a dog a sit stay, a down stay, and then do a here command. So my training for my own dogs has always been um, long training because I'm not even done yet. So now there's called what's, proofing your work. Proofing your work would be things like putting your dog in a sit stay or a down stay in an environment with a lot of distractions, creating your own distractions. Uh, Me, I do like half circles around the dog, a full circle. I have this crazy walk I do when I was training canines. My dog handlers would call it my gorilla walk. So, uh, and especially big distractions for the here command. So I still have more training to go because you've got to proof your work. So that's my thing on dog training versus behavior modification, different types of training that you can do, and my number one favorite command, the command here. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a wonderful day. Till next time, I'll see you.